The opinions expressed on this program are those of the program host and guest and are not necessarily those of this station, management, staff, and sponsors. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time now for the Crown Car Care Show. Call in with questions and comments, 220-9788, 220-WSTU. Now, here's your host.
Well, welcome aboard, everybody. It's September 16th.
Right. Today is my daughter Stephanie's birthday.
It's my brother's birthday, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And my sister's birthday was yesterday.
Mm.
And we're getting closer to Halloween.
Yes.
As you know, I did see about a week ago, I saw some Christmas decorations out at the store for sale.
Oh, of course.
So isn't that just fabulous that we started early.
Yeah.
And then we take it down fast. When I was a boy, I can remember watching the Super Bowl and the Christmas tree was still up. Now it's down like a day later.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids, once they get all their toys, they play them once during Christmas Day, and then they go in a box, and then we take it to the resale shop or donate it to Goodwill about a week and a half later.
Yeah.
You know how it works.
Right,
So,
exactly.
We have a wonderful show today.
We do. We have a bumper crop of information, and we have a guest, and you're not plugged in. Is that the problem?
No, it's just not working.
Yeah.
That's
Here. Oh, all right. Try that one.
So I have to hear myself speak.
There you go. How's that?
Kind of makes
Okay.
my brain work a little bit clearer.
Okay.
I'm not used to that. I like hearing my own voice.
Well,
Well,
we know that,
they say
Todd.
people on radio like to hear themselves talk.
All right.
So,
All right. I'll go with that.
let me tell you, we have a guest today,
Mhm.
and boy, can he speak fast.
He can.
He's
He's skilled.
he
He's
can
a professional.
absolutely.
Yes.
He could sell ice cubes to
To Eskimos.
absolutely.
Yes.
Welcome aboard, Keith Lowbridge. We are just so glad to have you on our radio show, and I'm so glad to be your neighbor.
Thank you.
He has well, we're going to let him tell about his businesses, but I will say that he recently moved into my neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
He is across the street in this wonderful building, and I'm going to tell you, on Wednesdays and Friday nights, my little neck of the woods has not seen so many cars ever. There's people everywhere, and I love it because they all drive
Nice
cars.
Yeah.
And you know what happens with cars.
Yeah, they seem to break, don't they?
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
They're going to break, and that's what we like.
Right. Right.
So he does auctions on Wednesday and Friday nights. It's choice auction.
Mhm.
And well, why don't we do the news?
Yes.
Let's do some automotive news, and then we'll get right into it with Keith. He's been telling me some good anecdotal stories here before the show started. I was thinking of just all kinds of stuff, and he had answers, and I'm going to tell you, brilliant man.
Yes. Yes, indeed. All right.
Well spoken.
Good. And now for the news, and then back to our show.
More than likely, we've all had those near misses as we try to navigate the city of Stuart's notorious confusion corner at Flagler, Ocean, and Osceola. But who would have ever thought that the intersection could nab a suspected killer? Yet that's what happened around 5:30 a.m. Sunday, according to the Martin County Sheriff's Office. Oscar Gill, 23, of Fort Pierce, was involved in an auto accident Sunday as he approached Confusion Corner in his pickup truck. Stuart police investigating the accident discovered the identification for Diana Ortiz, 23, inside Gill's truck and notified the Martin County Sheriff's Office. They had been investigating the strangulation death of Miss Ortiz less than 2 hours earlier in the parking lot at the southern end of Jensen Public Beach. Gill was arrested and is being held without bond at the Martin County Jail on charges of first-degree premeditated murder and resisting arrest without violence. Switching gears for a moment, Operation 300's Bahama Relief donation site at Witham Field has stopped donations temporarily as they need time to sort and package what they've collected. They are asking for any volunteers who can come to Hangar 3 at Witham Field to help. This News Minute is brought to our WSTU 1450 radio audience by Martin County Currents, your alternative source of local news.
All right.
You know, that's well-written news. It's good language, good choice of words, and it flows just like a good river.
Yes.
Currents.
You can tell it was written by a professional.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
Professionals in every line of work, in every business, I can tell you in my business, if you're a professional, somehow success follows you, and
Mhm.
I can tell you if you're a good auctioneer and you can present the products, and we'll let Keith tell us about that, and then you're going to succeed too. In any business, you can succeed. You've got to be a professional, though.
Well, let's find out about Choice Auctions right now. I'm very interested
Absolutely.
to know about the auction business, and we're so excited.
Keith, how
that
long
you're
you
across
Keith,
the
how
street
long you
from
been
us
in
Plum
business?
City.
What's your gig, and what prompted you to get into the auction business?
Well, Choice Auctions has been around for about 5 years. We just finished in our 5th year. We are located in Stewart, right across the Roosevelt Bridge on Route 1. It's the old Carl's Plaza. We've been there for 5 years. That's a retail outlet.
And let me get that plug too, because my wife has been looking for furniture. You do sell sofas there, is that true?
We sell sofas. We sell all the home goods that you could want. We're open 7 days a week, 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday, and we're open on Sunday.
And you take credit cards.
Yeah, we wouldn't be in business without credit cards. Yeah, no, we take credit cards. So the auction house started out there when we first started 5 years ago. We have 34,000 square feet, and 4,000 of it was the auction house. We outgrew that pretty quickly, and we relocated up to Port St. Lucie for our first auction at the intersection of Route 1 and Village Green. Big building there says auction house on it. We do an auction there every Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
I call it a community auction. We do between 500 and 600 items every Friday night. Start at 6:30 and we go till we're done.
Not necessarily from a collection or anything. It can be anybody can bring something in.
People can sign. People drop stuff off all week. Like today, we picked up a side-by-side fridge, washer dryer. We picked up a beautiful bar. All kinds of different.
So if I bring
things.
some stuff by across the street, you can get rid of it for me. Is that true? I've got a few items in my garage.
People drop it off all the time. People love garage stuff.
Really?
Garages are a great source for auction.
I have a pickup truck. I'll just start bringing stuff in on Monday mornings, and we'll get to. Heck, I don't have to fix cars anymore. I'll just sell stuff.
Well,
sounds like a deal to me.
No, I don't think it's that good, but it's sure they're a lot of fun to go to.
I bet they are.
I've enjoyed them for years and years and years.
There's an entertainment factor too, isn't there, with an auction? If it's well run and it's fun.
It takes let's say when we do a Friday night auction, and we've been doing that for close to 5 years. It takes about 160 man hours to put together a 4-hour auction. People don't realize there's a lot of detail work.
No, but I mean, people that go to auctions, it's a venue. It's like going to a horse race. Even if you don't win, it's just fun to be there. There's an energy.
People come for the show. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
they like the bid calling. They like the activity. They like the interchange, and they like the experience of winning when they get that paddle up.
Keith, let me ask you this question: do you put on a show?
We do a show, yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, I have my partner does all the next up, and I do the bid calling.
Oh, wait a minute now. Back up, because you just threw some words out to my listening audience. What's next up? What's next up?
Next up is when you're bringing the items up for auction. She is responsible for bringing the product up in an orderly fashion. She gives a description of the item so people know what they're buying and where to focus.
Kind of like the girls from Price is Right.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Kind of like a Vanna White.
Yeah, Vanna White, or the girls from the Bob Barker.
Vanna White, I think.
You're Bob Barker, and the girls. They're the girls that bring the pop-up campers and the all this stuff, right? Yeah, that's what it is.
We started the business together. She's a licensed auctioneer, just like I am. It's a licensed profession in the state of Florida, but she prefers to do the next up in the operational side, and I like to be on the stage, and it's turned out to be a winning combination for us. So,
well, you've perked my interest. I know that you and I have had an encounter on. We're on our second vehicle, and he had brought over a little Escort that looked like it was in a time capsule, and it's just absolutely.
I have not seen an Escort in a long time.
Talking
about Escort.
This is an Escort station wagon, and I tell you, this thing has hardly been touched by human hands.
It's 27 years old, Todd, right?
Yeah, 27. Yeah. It's only got 53,000 miles on it. So if you're looking for an Escort, I'm going to push this thing. Are you going to be selling that thing?
No, it's sold already.
Oh, okay, great.
Sure.
It's sold. Yeah, you're just doing the final on it for us, so we can deliver it.
Well, I'm going to do some extra special touches to it because I know that it's going to be going to some good hands, and I'm going to touch it and give it the Crown Car Care smile and the magic.
So how did you acquire that Escort? Was that part of somebody's estate?
They were in the store. They were in the retail store.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for some furniture. We got to talking about what they were buying. Turned out we were going to do some things from her parents' estate. They were in the garage. So we went up, I took a look, and there were a number of other items in the garage. The garages are almost like the best places. I mean, if you got to like to get into that. You've seen the American Pickers, those guys. It's a slot like that, and you got to really enjoy it. And so I just said, well, what about this car? It looks like it's never driven. He goes, well, it isn't. I'm the third generation of the family to own it. It just keeps getting passed down. It's time to get a new home. So I said, well, let me auction it for you. Husband looked at wife looked at husband, and 20 minutes later, we were driving away to take it to auction.
And it's going to go. I mean, it is just a trouble-free car. It's just a good car. So if it says anything about you and your auction, you've got good stuff. And
there's a lot of good stuff around, and people are really good about that. I mean, they it's just not all, and I don't mean to be rude, but it's not all junk. We do really nice stuff, not unlike our furniture gallery.
What is your favorite piece of furniture item that you've acquired? Was there anything that you were ever so excited about that came in? And
well, we've gotten a couple of nice pieces. I was involved with a house down in Palm Beach, that we got a number of items down there. It was a very extensive mansion. It was sold for $110 million.
Wow.
And they called in different levels. The first level was Christie's and the big guys out of New York. And then we were second tier. We got to do the furniture. And then they had the fellow after us who cleaned out the junk. And it's
interesting that there's a pecking order, I guess, so to speak. In this.
Yeah, there's different levels of skill sets and people that do certain things. It's a very segmented market. It's pretty sophisticated, a little more than people think.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sell everything at every auction. There's particular things that do better than others, and some things that you just can't sell at all. So you got to get the right people in with the right auctioneer with the right type of stuff, and he or she can sell it based on their demographic and the market that they deal in.
Well, I told you right before the radio show started that my wife 2 years ago was in charge of an auction at a school that we went to. And she had a brilliant idea about bringing in a professional auctioneer. And of course, my company, Crown Car Care, sponsored it and paid for it. So we'd have no flack from anybody by doing this. And I will tell you, the bounty, the basket's filled with money from a professional auctioneer. She was from Tampa, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right, Tamara?
Yes.
There are specialty companies that do benefit auctions, and there is actually a certification from the National Auctioneers Association where you can become a benefit auctioneer.
Well, you were telling me that you have a school as well.
Yeah, I am Mary Jo, my partner, and we own the most active auction school in the state of Florida. We do a class, and we're licensed by the State Board of Education to do that. We do it every quarter, every 90 days. Like the last class, we had 20 students.
You must move fast. Like I know people tell me that they sometimes if you move your eyes a little bit, you'll lose track of where Todd is. You keep going.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got
busy.
You've got 2 locations. I had 4 locations at one point, and I couldn't. I'll be honest with you, my poor brain couldn't process this stuff as fast as I needed to. So I've got 2 locations.
Well, there are different nights, different times, and different markets. So it's work, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, when's the last time that you worked? If you were having a good time,
I've been doing it for 14 years now.
Yeah.
And
I tell people I should have done this in my 40s, not my 60s. That's how much fun it is.
Anyone ever tell you look like Wilford Brimley?
Yeah,
A young Wilford.
I get that a lot.
You look just like
lot.
I'm thinking about Quaker oatmeal right now. How good it is. That's all I keep thinking about.
So I didn't get the answer though yet because
the
Todd keeps talking.
The answer is we picked up down in Palm Beach these 2 beautiful tables. They were specialty tables. They were hand carved with an eagle presentation on them, and I got them for almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They were just gorgeous. So I originally had sent them down to Miami to sell, and then changed my mind, brought them back, and it was we got them for, like I said, very, very good price, and we sold them for $20,000+.
That's
Wow,
interesting.
that's
Was
exciting.
it like older period type furniture?
Yes,
Empire? Was it Empire by chance? Empire style?
No, they were hand had a lot of the furniture in this house was all specially made, hand done. No, they were. I forget the name of the individual who did them, but he was a well-known person.
Well, I've been watching American. Was it that road show thing they got on public TV, and I've been noticing a trend that as the people that have the wherewithal to buy antiques and things of value, you're now seeing a lot of things in the 60s, this like modernism that was always junk and for many people's eyes is now worth big bucks. Some of these like molded chairs from Denmark that, these weird looking plastic type things that are now worth a fortune.
I've got a great story for that. We went down to an auction in West Palm, my partner and I, and there were these Danish modern teak with the old wool in them. They were, and I remember having those as a kid when I grew up, and I spent a few years in Europe when I was growing up. My dad was in the military, and we had that kind of furniture, right?
Yeah.
And my dad did okay, but not this kind of okay. I mean, those two chairs went for $18,000.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
And
mid-century Danish modern.
But it would never. It's as it's like with cars, the brass era cars used to be some of the most valuable cars that you could collect. Now, you're lucky to find a buyer. It's just the people that. The nostalgia of seeing it when you couldn't own it, and now you have the means to own it. There's a time from when that product was made, when you saw it, and then when you get your success, there's a period of time that has to exist because we're only on this earth for a fixed period of time. So things go out of favor and things fall in favor.
Yeah. There is one of the nice things about the furniture market is that it changes, it goes up and down, and it's always different, which makes it exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it seems like a lot of people like myself like to try and repurpose things and are always looking for
shabby
something.
chic. Shabby chic is the watchword today. And one of my things when I'm on the stage is, let's just paint it white.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do.
Well, that's what she's done.
Or you get to dust it for the rest of your life.
She just painted white my kitchen, my cabinets in my bathroom. She did a fine job.
Wow.
Thanks to Frank and his paintbrush.
We ran into Frank
at the Home Depot, and he gave us the paintbrush cost as much as the damn can of paint did.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the cottage style is in these days. So
Yes.
we do that does very well. There are certain things that move very quickly, and there are certain things that sit around for a while. But we take it all, and I tell people it'll always sell. It's just a matter of price and what you're comfortable with.
So let me just rehash this because we have a big listening audience, and I know people are just chomping at the bit to get over to your auction. You have an auction in Palm City.
We have that on Wednesday.
On Bruner Terrace.
Terrace.
Across from Crown Car Care.
So, my address is 3982 Southwest Bruner, and this is just a couple numbers from it. If you know where I'm at, all my customers out there, if you want to go see some good stuff, and you want to meet Wilford Brimley in person, I would say you there both Wednesday and Fridays?
No, just on Wednesday nights.
Okay,
We do the
Wednesday.
Friday in Port St. Louis.
Okay. See, I'm even thinking about setting up a little, welcome auction. People come, discounted crown if you mention auction.
So how does it work? So on Wednesday you have an auction. Do you have a preview?
Yeah,
or
preview lasts all day, starts at 10,
Oh.
goes up till the time we take the stage. So you could look at it all day long. What we do, if you like, is we'll put you on our text blast and we'll text you at 10 o'clock in the morning a picture of all the items that are going to be up for sale that night. So you can look, and then if you decide you like something, you can just go on by and touch it, feel it, look at it, make sure you want to do
This
it.
is
I
most
always
interesting.
recommend that people do that. So it's called preview. So preview is all day until we start the auction.
And then do you have to register to bid?
You register, you get a paddle, you can register during the day, or you can wait till you come in at night. We have a food vendor there so you can eat, grab something to eat before the auction, and then you can just relax and enjoy the auction as we go through it. So you get a paddle, there's no charge for the paddle, and then you check out and the staff loads it up and you get to take it home.
Now, I've been kicked underneath the table when I was eating dinner once because I kept raising the paddle at one of the auctions I went to with my wife.
Well, I
You
kind of
remember?
like you raise the paddle.
Yeah, I was always the big spender at these school auctions, and she'd be kicking me under the table because I'd be making a scene. One time I stood up and started bidding. I got a bidding war going on, and then I stopped.
Competitive nature,
Yeah.
and that's probably an advantage for, when there might be several
See, I
people
juiced up.
looking
They had
for
a
the
fire
same
truck. They had a
item,
fire truck
and-
ride where you get to take your kid to school in a fire truck, and one of these parents, well-heeled parents, wanted it bad enough. So I kind of played ringer, and I kind of get the thing way up there. Then I
Gets
just
the
withheld
prices
from
up.
bidding,
You need them
and then I
reduction
stopped,
all the time.
and everyone won. Then see, the school got the money. My person got the fire truck ride, but of course he paid dearly for it. That's okay.
And what I say to that is he wouldn't have if he didn't want to.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. And I had fun raising the
Yeah.
paddle, getting up and stomping around because I always do that. It's just a blast.
We have people that come regularly. They come every Wednesday and every Friday. It's kind of like an addiction. People.
Sure.
Well, I
people
don't want to
don't
think
watch.
about it that way, but I will think about
I
walking
was.
across.
Yeah.
I just
I
can't
like-
wait to get over there.
I liked it so
Also-
much I created a business out of it. They say you should never make your hobby a business, but
Right.
every now and then you get lucky.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
Yeah, and you've got some great art pieces too.
Yeah, we've been, there is a lot of interesting things around Martin County, St. Lucie County. We go as far south as Miami. We go as far north as Orlando to look at things. And one of the most exciting parts of the job is that all the different things I get to see and all the interesting people I get to meet. And I've been lucky on both counts. So it's been a real ride so far. And I'm not ready to get off that train yet. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, now let's tie this into the Crown Car Care Radio Hour. Keith, what was your first automobile?
My very first automobile was a 67 Camaro,
Oh,
225 straight six
Oh,
Nice.
with a vinyl top.
vinyl top,
Sure.
yeah.
You
Three
started
speed,
out with style and you're riding through life with style. I guess is the way to right?
Yeah, my dad said, you're not getting an old clunker. You're getting something new and you're going to make payments because you'll be making payments for the rest of your life. So get used to it now at 16,
Yeah, there you go.
So
You were blessed.
Yeah.
I saved for my car. I was so passionate about having a 73 Mustang Mach 1. I started saving 3 years before, and then I was able to buy it.
Nice.
But it was
that
just,
was a great car.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a nice car, except I could never get a girl to go on a date with me on it. I don't know. I just always had
I think
was
they
a
dated the
gearhead,
guy,
I
not
guess.
the car. Somebody ought to tell you that.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I know. But when you're 16 years old, for some reason, you
Give you
think
a
the car,
car, the girls
you
are
kind
gonna
of like
be
the cologne, the
"Hey."
cowboy boots, just, the whole hat. There's all these things that you do to, But I found out it never worked until I met my dear wife at Waterway Cafe is where we met. Right?
That's right.
Mother's Day,
There you go.
1991.
And the rest is history.
It is history, 24 years of marriage. That's
Very
right.
good.
Cars are a lot of fun. I always thought that, but I'm not mechanically inclined at all.
I'll tell you, in my business, technology changes yearly. So I have to be on my game at all times. All times. I can never rest. I have to always be learning. It's one of the reasons I do this radio show, because it just keeps me current.
Yes.
Aren't cars basically computers these days anyway?
Yeah, but they're all networked together, and they keep and most cars have a lot of new 25, 30 computers that are all networked on
Oh my God.
3 different network lines. You got the high speed, the ISO, and the medium and low speed CAN. They all talk to each other. Then they're broadcasting through 2G and 3G cellular phone service that they're in these cars that are transmitting data back and forth. So you got
I don't think I do that.
yeah, so I mean, it is from a technology standpoint, and from I get the cars that no one else can fix. So put it this way: I'm always regenerating new brain cells, and I don't. So it's just the way it works. So let's take a break.
All right. We'll be right back. So stick with us. We have much more to cover.
This is the Crown Car Care Radio Hour. Let me tell you a little bit about this show. As you know, we've had Keith from Choice Auctions on. He's the owner. He's been in business 5 years. He's got 3 locations, actually. He's got the one in Port St. Lucie that he does the community auction. I believe that's on Friday nights.
Right.
He's got the place that was the old Carl's Furniture on US 1 there in Jensen Beach, which is right before the mall if you're coming over the Roosevelt Bridge from Martin County.
All right.
He's got that where he has quite a showroom and a display of home furnishings and sofas and all that stuff that's associated with your house. And then he also does an auction there. And then he has this new place he opened. And this is how I met him out in Palm City. He's off Bruner Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, he's creating quite a stir in our neck of the woods. This man came into town and he's got people. There's cars everywhere. There's activity. He's bringing his vehicles over to my place to service. Right now, I'm working on an Escort that he sold through his auction. Keith, I like you.
So on Wednesday nights, what time does the auction start and how long does it usually last?
Well, Wednesday and Friday, they both start at 6:30.
6:30.
And the one in Palm City is, sort of just getting started. And it goes to about 9:30.
Wow.
And the one in Port St. Lucie goes to 10:30. Okay. It's a function of the number of items and the active bidding. So the number, it's called active paddles is the nomenclature that we use in the business. How many active paddles that we have.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, but
Can I bring my son? Is there an age? Can I bring my young boy?
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's 12 years old. He's
Yeah, it's fine.
responsible.
Yeah. It's not X-rated.
Well, he's responsible in public. I can't tell you behind the scenes. Sometimes he puts forth resistance, but you'll never see that.
If he has a paddle, he'll be bidding on it.
He'll be bidding on stuff. Keith, you'll have a bang up night when he's there. He'll be wanting to buy everything. Pressuring me to.
It's really cute when they bid. A lot of parents bring their children, let them bid, teach them how to bid. It's and we sort of have a little fun with them too.
Well, we're gonna you're gonna have my family there, and I'll bring my mother as well. You'll have the Harris clan. They'll be over at your location looking for the food.
A few weeks ago, I had a couple of kids come up on the stage in auction.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot of fun to watch them, and they were having a great time.
I bet.
They were. Yeah. Well, it's fun to involve people.
Right.
It's auctions have been around forever. Okay, and it's nice to try to pass it on to the next generation as well. So. There's something that I don't think they'll forget. And the parents just thought it was the greatest thing. So, and it was a lot of fun too, So I have 3 kids myself. So I'm.
Now for the second half of the show, as you know, I have to, so to speak, dine and dash.
Okay.
I'm a board member of the Martin County Business Exchange, and we have once a month we have a meeting. And there is a little bit of a conflict with a radio show, but I'm so dedicated to my show and the excitement, but I do have
And
to
your
leave
audience.
early, so
Yes.
Frank, I'm gonna turn the reins
Okay.
over to you. I know
And
you
your
can-
wife, yes.
wife and Keith,
Mhm.
between the 3 of you, I believe you can come up with 25 minutes of material.
It's very likely.
I gave you all kinds of notes now, and
That's right.
I'm going to
No excuses.
I'm going to be listening to
Okay.
you now, so
All
you
right.
guys be good.
Okay.
But Keith, thank you so much for being a guest. I had
Well, thank
was
you for
looking
having
forward
me.
to this,
I
and
appreciate it.
then Joan was excited too to listen to it. She's my lovely secretary in the
Mhm.
office, as well as my bookkeeper. What a
And
fine lady
researcher.
she is! Oh, she travels the world. She's got just a team of researchers that give us the latest and current automotive news. We get breaking news before anyone else does here at WSTU.
That's right.
At the foot of the Roosevelt Bridge at world headquarters, that is. And everyone take care now.
All right. Thanks, Todd. All right. So,
So back to the auction.
yes. Yeah, because you really.
I think I have a future addict here.
I think
yeah.
it's.
I'm very
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
So do you do that fast talking?
Yeah, it's
or-
called bid calling. And let me give you a little background on bid
Okay.
calling. The purpose of the bid calling is to, 1, create excitement, and 2, to give the audience an opportunity to think for a second if they want to decide to bid or not. Otherwise, you're just stringing a whole bunch of numbers together. And we are actually saying something, like the bid calling filler words. They're called filler words that I use are able to bid, able to buy. So I'll go, hey, able to bid, able to buy, 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 able to bid. But you could say, betty boop, boop, betty boop, boop. You could pick anything you want
Mhm.
that rolls off your lips, and it's just a trained or learned skill.
Got it.
Okay. And we try to find the filler words in class for the potential auctioneers that can work with their bid calling style.
Interesting.
So it's a learned skill. It's not just being able to talk fast. It's all about the numbers. And you have to be able to do numbers in various increments. The toughest increments are 250s. Anything beyond that gets to be pretty simple, but people don't talk in terms of 250. So you got to do something like 255, 10, 12, 15, 17, 18, 18, 19, 20, 20, 20. You got to be able to do it. Okay. You got to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And you got to do it fast.
Right.
And from time to time, you need to be sure that the audience knows where you are. I have a real issue with not being clear on the number. I don't think that's right. I think you need you need to be fair with the audience.
Sure.
And I can get going and you'll have no idea what you're paying. That's just not, it's not fair.
No.
So it's, in that way, people just don't come back.
Yeah.
And you want them to come back again and again and again, because it's always
You want it to
something
be an
different.
enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it should be a night of entertainment.
Mhm.
Get something to eat, come to the auction, doesn't cost anything. You decide you like something, you buy something, it's not expensive. So it's a nice night out
Right.
as well. These days, a nice night out, inexpensive is unusual. So,
It's refreshing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
so it's a learned skill. We teach them that in class. The class, in order to get an auction license in the state of Florida, and it is a licensed profession, you have to have 80 academic hours. We teach 90 because we're certified in 38 states. Other states have more hours. So we teach the maximum hours so that they can take their license and reciprocate in other states.
Well, that's
Okay.
good. Yeah.
And it's an interesting fact. There's only about 7,000 licensed auctioneers in the state of Florida. And that's from the last 35 years. The school's been around 35 years.
Wow.
Okay. So, and not everybody's active. So you can sort of think about that. It's kind of a unique profession.
It is indeed.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. And then I took it up 5 years ago when I retired. And I've been having a great time with it ever since. And teaching is just a blast.
Yeah.
You get to meet a lot of interesting people. I've met people who have no money, and I've met millionaires coming through the school. It's interesting the number of different people that love auctions.
That's very
It
interesting.
kind of puts a whole different group of people together, which is a lot of fun too. So,
That's fun.
yeah.
So do you have anything exciting for the auction on Wednesday this week
We
that
got
you'd like to share?
Yeah, we've got some nice new furniture that we've taken out of a couple of estates down south. Estates can be whether it be a home or whether it be a business. We have some businesses that have closed, and we've been able to take some of the new furniture out of there at a price that makes it eligible for auction. So you'll see some nice new leather product coming up on Wednesday night in Palm City. Sectional
That's
single
what I'm looking
sofas,
for. Sectional
recliners.
sofa.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really nice, and it goes for a very reasonable price. And it's, the nice thing about it is you don't always get new at auctions, but lately we've been able to find some of those types of items. That's what I do most of the week, is find
Right.
stuff
Right.
that I think will sell well and that will do well with the public.
Hey, have you ever been surprised and you found an item that you thought you'd be able to sell right away, and it maybe took you a little bit of time to sell it, and maybe you came across an item that you thought that wouldn't sell at all and you sold it right away?
One of the things I've learned is you never know.
Right.
I mean, I have a set of Hinrodon mirrors that are just gorgeous. Took them from a house in Sailfish Point, and I took them. It was one of the first products I ever took, and still sitting on my floor. And I'm just stubborn enough where they're going to sit there for a while because they're extremely nice and
valuable.
Yeah, they're valuable, and it's just, and the consignor doesn't care. So we've agreed to just at some point they'll sell.
Eventually
The right
there'll be a
buyer
buyer.
will
Yeah,
come.
they'll
Yeah.
buy. I mean, it just takes one person,
Right.
So you get that. It's not unusual. Okay. I mean, just when I think I'm going to have some really super stuff, this other stuff goes for better than the super stuff. So what I've learned is don't worry about it. It is what it is. And, your group of customers will take care of you. If you bring it regularly and they come consistently, everybody wins by that. So a lot of fun too.
Well, what's nice about the auction is that you can actually go and you see what you have available. I'm always looking on OfferUp. I
Yeah.
look at different things on OfferUp, and you see things, but
Oh,
all you
that's a
see
website?
yes, that's a website where people sell things and all different kinds of things. But you don't really see unless you go, it's just so complicated
not
and
tangible,
convoluted.
right? Yeah.
So it's so nice.
It's easy. It's just better when you can
Right,
touch
when you
it,
can touch it,
feel
see
it,
it,
look at it.
and you know who you're buying it from.
Yeah. I
at the
think that's an
auction.
advantage.
Exactly. That's what I was.
Those websites are nice.
Yes,
but
but they're risky.
Very,
And
very risky.
that's the advantage of an auction, is that you see what you're getting, and you know who you're buying from, and you know who you're giving your money to, kind of thing. Whereas you have to go to some stranger's house and grab that's scary.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big Craigslist fan. I don't want all those Craigslist people coming through my house.
Exactly.
And if I have to take it to a parking lot to be able to show it to somebody, that just sounds kind of rude.
Exactly.
Come to the auction, you can see it. We stand for it. We have a reputation to maintain. We're very proud of our reputation. So it's just a different way to sell something. The customers, we make it available. They come to us. It's all out in the open. It's all straight up. People can see exactly what it is.
Right.
Nice thing about being a licensed facility is there's strict rules and regulations that you must follow. So when you agree to take that license, you agree to follow all those rules. And quite frankly, I think that's important.
Yeah.
These days rules help.
Yeah.
And we're comfortable with it, and we're happy to be part of it. So.
Very good.
I can't wait to get to the auction.
How many auctions have you been to?
No furniture auctions. I've been to the that big car auction.
In Orlando?
No, it's been in West Palm. It's in Arizona.
Oh wow.
The Barrett Jackson.
Barrett Jackson.
It's the Barrett Jackson.
Even I don't understand those guys.
I've been to the auctions at the fair where they auction off the 4-H, the cows and the pigs.
My very first auction, I was in fourth grade in a little town called Biddlesville, Maryland, and I remember going up to the cattle auctions in Thurmont, Maryland. And you could buy a Coke for $10 back then, and that's when when I was in high school, I grew up in Virginia, all up and down some of these country roads, they would have weekend auctions, and that's when I got hooked. And then when I moved here, I used to go over to the old Palm City auction before it closed. They closed after 27 years. That's one of the reasons we moved into Palm City, is because they closed, and it made an opportunity available for us. So, I went regularly. I've been around Stewart about 20 years now, and I think I went there for 15 of the 20 years. They did a great job, and Mr. Epps retired. He was just done. Yeah. So, but it was a lot of fun, and I hope we can continue that.
Yes.
That fun.
Yes.
All right, and the fun will continue right here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Back, you're listening to the Crown Car Care Power Hour. How you like that, huh? And we are talking to Keith Trowbridge, and Tamara is here, also representing Crown Car Care. And we've got some interesting car news. One of the things that you sent me was this about the Tesla airbags, right? No, you sent me the one on the car knows when you gain weight. Now, women probably hate this, right?
I'm sure,
right?
Yes.
So we're not going to read the whole article, but you can find it in the New York Times. I guess they have an online edition, and you can refer to that. But cars produced today are essentially smartphones with wheels. That's essentially what you said earlier, Keith. For drivers, this may mean many new features, automatic braking, turn-by-turn directions, and infotainment. And for all the things we're getting out of our connected vehicles, car makers are getting much, much more. They're constantly collecting data from our vehicles.
Right.
And that's what the article goes on to talk about.
Right. And last
Yeah.
week we were talking about how to erase the data from your car when you sell
Yeah.
it. And now I found
Can you
this
erase it?
article. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now I found this article that's telling me how much data they are getting from us. And it's really amazing and very, very interesting, and what the future will hold with this, and how your information is being used by the people that get this information
Right.
and where it's going to.
Oh, yeah. I
So-
mean, this occurred to me years ago. I made a purchase at Publix. I bought a Gillette product, right? I think it's razors. And I got home and I'm on the computer doing some emails, things that all of a sudden, the pop-up pops up on the left side of your email screen. All of a sudden, I was getting coupons for Gillette products.
Really?
So Publix was selling my data. They have that metadata, whatever they call it. They were selling the data to Gillette, and that's one of the sources of income that the grocers have available to them when you use your credit card.
And they don't need your permission to do that.
Apparently not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, is that something you often do? You sell electronics in your auctions? Do you ever get computers and that kind of thing?
Yes, and what we do, because that's a very touchy subject, is all the information that's on a
Right.
computer. So we always ask that they be wiped clean before we take them. And
Right.
I don't want any responsibility for that.
Right.
And you can wipe them clean fairly easily.
Right.
And so we always ask that they do that. If not, we tell them that we probably
Not
shouldn't,
interested.
we shouldn't take them,
Right.
and unless, caveat emptor, if you want me to take it, I will, but we're not going to wipe it. So
Right.
you need to wipe it before you give it to us.
Oh, I have a question too. What about old records?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that-
vinyl. Yeah.
Is that
Vinyl's a
something?
thing.
Is that something that you ever auction?
We get them all the time,
Really?
actually. And there are certain records, and the record aficionados know what those are. So we'll have them by the box, and you'll see on preview day, people are going through the boxes looking for certain records. And then they'll not want the whole lot number. They'll want just the few.
Cherry pick.
Yeah, and they'll
Yeah.
want to pull those out.
Yeah.
And the answer is no. Once we take it, it's slotted. You have the pleasure of taking all of it if you're going to take those four.
Mhm.
So it's interesting, and they know exactly which ones they want.
Mhm.
And we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful with that.
I ask that because we have a huge box full of records from like 1920s and 30s. They're I've already looked them up
Yeah.
to see if anything is worth
Are they
much.
78?
But there's got some, yes, some
Yeah.
are. But I figured there must be someone somewhere that would want these. I don't care about the money of it. I just want somebody that
have it go to a good home.
that has the interest in them. We
Yeah.
came about them in an unusual way.
You
So
can pretty
I
much
just
count
mhm.
that the records will go for anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a
Mhm.
piece. That's what they go for,
Mm.
unless there's something special.
Mm.
And what's really special, a lot of the iconic stuff from the 60s is very in now.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, as Todd was saying, the
Like the
Scandinavian
Abbey-
furniture and the records too.
Abbey
The
Road,
yes.
the Beatles, Abbey Road.
Mhm,
Yeah. Right.
mhm.
Yeah.
There was
Yes.
we had a Stones album, and we did have an old Elvis Presley album that was a certain pressing. I've learned a little bit about it as a result of being in the business,
Mm.
but there are certain marks, details that are on the jacket, the quality of the jacket, the look of the record.
Mhm.
There's a number of things that factor into the value of some of these older items, especially records. Okay, people are looking for very, very specific things.
Interesting.
But as I tell people, everything sells as a rule. It's just a matter of what it sells
Mhm.
for.
Right.
So I tell people, if you're ready to let go,
Mhm.
an auction is the perfect place.
Right.
There are
Right.
not a lot of other options. Okay.
Interesting.
So, and people give us just some really wonderful stuff.
Wow.
I saw something the other night. We had a record player, if you will, but now they have USB ports in them.
I know.
That's funny.
I said, what is that? The next step today, that's got a USB port in it.
That's too funny. We've got Debbie on the line. She's got a question for you. Go ahead. Oh, Debbie, you have to put on your headphones.
Hi. It's not just a question,
All right.
but it's funny. I work with Frank on Friday nights, and we just had this conversation about albums. And I have a bunch of albums from the the 60s and the 70s and early 80s. And people come and I put them out when I have a garage sale or whatever I'm doing. And you're right. They pick through they want. They don't want the albums. They want the covers.
Oh, that's interesting. So they want the they want the covers.
They want the album covers.
They want the album cover, not the
Covers,
album.
because I have a couple that, with the middle finger out and different bands that were doing different things back then. And I have all the posters that came with the albums and the trilogy albums back then. And they wanted to pick and choose and give me $1 for something like that. And I was like you buy the whole thing or you don't get any of them.
Well, that's the smart play, of course. But certain things have tremendous value. If you have something unique like that, there's always the possibility to get it appraised for actual value, so that you clearly get what it's worth. And you want to be careful sometimes. All right. You don't want to go into an auction blind if you have a unique item. Right. So you want to be very careful, because an auction, as I tell people, if you're not prepared to get next to nothing, don't bring it to auction. You've got to be able to.
Right.
You got to be able to take it, but I always suggest that they do research. The average auction house won't tell you of the value. They'll just say it sells for what it sells for. It's the old phrase, as is, where is.
Mm-hmm.
We actually say that every time we get up on the stage, that when you sell it tonight is as, where is, all faults included. What it is, once the hammer's down, it's gone.
Right.
Well, I think as I've gotten older, I realize that
Thanks, Debbie.
things are
You
never
guys have a great night.
Oh, thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
that what you think something's worth. It may be worth that to you,
Right.
but
It's
it's not going to be.
It's on any given night.
Right,
I mean, there
exactly.
are things that I think are going to go for a whole bunch of money and they go for nothing, and there are things that I think are going to go for nothing and they go for a whole bunch of money. So, on any given night, I mean, I've done enough. I've done thousands of items now in my what I consider a short career is only 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I've been to them forever and ever. It's just you're one of the things you always are is constantly surprised.
All right. So in the remaining time, do we want to
do you have any Tesla news?
Yes. Well, the Tesla news, funny you should ask. Tesla airbags did not inflate when a family's Model 3 crashed into a guardrail. And they claim the company isn't cooperating with the investigations. Victim's lawyer says a Tesla Model 3's airbags did not inflate in a devastating highway accident earlier this year. The victim's attorney said. The family's lawyer said they sent a routine preservation letter to the company, but has not had heard back in the months since. Tesla had the ability to monitor their vehicle out of the roadway. Who owns the data? Is it our client or is it Tesla, that the attorney asked? Interesting, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Who owns that information? When a Tesla Model 3 carrying Kristen Henderson and her family slammed into a guardrail on Interstate 95 median in suburban Maryland this summer, the vehicle side airbags did not deploy, according to the victim's attorney. The George Washington University professor was rendered comatose by the impact, causing her serious brain damage, while her son in the backseat also suffered severe injuries. Their lawyer, Ted Leopold, said. Many of the injuries could not have been prevented, or could have been prevented if the airbag had functioned as designed.
Wow.
So anyways.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you see the man caught on camera fast asleep at wheel of
I
Tesla
saw
at high
that.
speed in
I did
Massachusetts?
not know it was high speed, but I saw he was
and someone
nodded
took
out
a
at
picture of him.
Yes.
And he's asleep and he's on the highway in Massachusetts.
taking a nap.
Yes.
I guess if you rest your hand, because the car senses your hand on the wheel.
Yes.
So as long as your hand is on the wheel, the car will continue to roll. So
and it's supposed to alert you, I guess, beeps or something.
It buzzes.
happen.
It's just a
when
little
you're,
vibration or buzz.
well,
Yeah.
This guy was fast asleep. That is very frightening.
I wonder how he must have woke up in time to regain control of the car at some point, because we haven't heard any more about him.
Does the car shut down, or does
No, the car was rolling down the highway.
Oh, okay. It doesn't shut down when your hand comes off the wheel. It doesn't pull over or something. And is a safety measure?
If your hand comes off the wheel, it'll probably. I don't know what happens. It could be a voice command, something where a voice talks to you and asks you, where you are you driving this car or not? Who's in charge here? So, but yeah, that's a good question.
And have you and Todd talked about the truck, the Tesla truck?
No,
I saw
not
something about that.
Yeah, there was I don't
a
know.
cyberpunk Tesla pickup truck
Yeah.
coming in November. It was supposed to be released over the summer, and it's very unusual looking.
Right. It's supposed to be a heavy towing vehicle.
Yeah, it's very weird looking.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just very odd.
Right.
We're obsessed with Tesla. Everything Tesla.
Kind of futuristic, right?
Yes,
Right, very
exactly. Very
futuristic.
futuristic.
But I know
So-
they're using a lot of those cars, those trucks right now for the long hauling,
Mhm.
and they're just total autopilot and on lonely highways where there's very little interaction with anything on the road. And that's a perfect vehicle for that sort of application.
Yes.
So who knows where the
Well, this has been
future.
a great show.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
the
Thank
Crown Car Care Show. If you need your car repaired, you can find us in Palm City or Stewart on Cove Road. And our phone number is 772-781-8000. And remember, Wednesday night, Choice Auction in Palm City on Bruner Terrace. And we want to thank Keith for being here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time. Thank you so much.
All right. And we'll be back again next week with much more right here on the Crown Car Care Show.
That's right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.